Hey everyone, welcome to Morethanmeetstheseguys. We are continuing our journey through the Marvel UK Annual #1. I'm Evan. I'm the lifelong Transformers fan with the even life longer fan, Boo, here at the AxleUnderground.com. And
Howdy.
yeah, I've shed my werewolf curse, as you see.
I see that.
Yeah,
It's
it
funny,
was
we just had a new moon, so maybe that's what it was.
yeah, I had a like apparently I had to bleed a chicken under the new moon, not full moon, the new moon. So
Right.
it can't be witnessed by the eyes of the gods. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm okay now.
You're from the furthest point from the full moon again, so
Exactly. So we're okay. We'll see
yes,
if the break of the curse holds or not.
it won't.
But we are getting into the second story from the annual, which is missing in action. And
Yeah, the story's not missing, it's just titled that.
oh, did you get it? Did you get a story in your issue?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was on the back of a UK milk carton.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to go to the right page.
Yeah.
Good, we're good. The so yeah, man, it's a track story and it's feels very familiar in some ways.
Yeah, this was written by James Hill
Okay.
and illustrated by John Stokes, which they're not credited in here, but in later reprints
Okay.
they discuss it, and yeah, that's who worked on this one.
Well, man, as John Stokes did some fantastic work in this.
Oh yeah.
But
And so the way he came about writing for it
uh
is that in the interview in the IDW reprint, uh, I guess that's Classic UK Transformers Volume 1, Sheila
mhm.
Crana, who was the editor at the time, wanted some prose stories from the US, used as fillers on the annual. I guess from some of the little storybooks and stuff like that. But the rights to those publications were tied up with a book deal with another retailer, so they couldn't use them. So she wanted Simon Furman to write some text stories for the annual, but he was out of the office at the time. And Richard Starkings was in, and he suggested that she ask James Hill to do it, as they had previously worked together at Harrier Comics.
Okay. Nice.
So Hill was tapped to write Missing in Action and Hunted, which
Oh,
appears
okay.
later in this annual as well. And Hill said at the time, he says, continuity wasn't as important in those days. He says, I don't think I ever heard of anything ever being referred to as canon. So, yeah, he
Yeah.
just like was free to write about whatever.
I feel like his early days, like what Michael Charles Hill and Buzz Dixon told us. I mean, it was a free for all.
Yeah,
There's no one was really trying to keep a cohesive story, and a lot of them didn't think there was going to be a cohesive story, in the end, anyways. Therefore, there wasn't a lot of focus on keeping a serialized story going, or a story arc or anything like that.
right.
It was just single episode one-offs a lot of times, with exceptions, obviously. But that's actually kind of funny because this one feels like a very familiar episode that Ed and I went over in a lot of ways, not completely, but
Hmm. Oh yeah, it seems there's a lot of shades of like make tracks in this.
yeah, yeah. A lot less Raoul, um, but still, so there's some there's some I don't know. I don't want to get into too much without going into the story. So,
Yeah.
but
Tracks. I mean, Raoul had more of a heart of gold than the guys we encounter here.
yeah, he did. Well, yeah. He did. I feel like Raoul was actually very much like what Noah in the Rise of the Beast movie was.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
would say like Noah was based off of the story of Raoul, but
If
taken
they
a
just
different
called
way.
him Raoul, it would have been fine.
Yeah, that's like saying that's. Then again, that's really on the nose. It's almost like saying Carbamia if you're talking about a Middle Eastern country.
I don't know if Raoul is as offensive as
That's true. That's
Carbamia.
true.
Yeah.
That's okay. Good point. That's like saying a Mexican guy calling him Jose, I guess.
Well, I mean, he's Noah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you can go off on a tangent on that for a while, but let's leave it there. So yeah, man. So that was Make Tracks actually one of the stories that when I went back and watched it again, it really played better than I remembered. So that's kind of neat.
Hmm.
and especially going off of watching Rise of the Beast, which was a pretty good Transformers movie or for live action.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
they got really good towards the end. Like Bumblebee is fantastic, Rise of the Beast is really good, and of course Transformers One, which we really should do a kind of a play by play on that one at some point. I know it's very fresh and very new. So I've seen some of these reaction videos on Facebook of people who I was a collector G1 back in those days. I'm like, dude, you were a fetus when G1 was out. But so in not the gatekeeper or anything like that. But so I kind of want to go. I want to do a video. Maybe we'll put on the Patreon of you and I watching, going scene by scene and seeing different things that like really stand out to us. Why it's actually a great movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should do that at some point, and maybe we'll do that on the we'll find a way to do it with some people from the Discord. So join the Discord.
Oh, that'd be
Um,
fun.
yeah, I think that'd be great. We'll do an event or something one night with that. So, well, anyways, I want to get that's those are other plans. I have grand plans I never have enough time to actually create. So, but
That's always the trick.
it really is. If I could somehow like if my wife could somehow find a way to make us independently wealthy, I could just do things like all the day long.
Or you need clones. You need like multiplicity and just make several clones of Evan just to
Oh, how
do
about the
everything.
how about the one that like he's been cloned too many times and wears swim goggles and water wings around the house.
Well, see, you're beating that to the punch. You're just starting out that way.
Dude, I
Yeah,
had a
you left
backyard.
the webcams on. So,
Yeah, yeah. I had a back porch pool. I
the,
legitimately had a back porch pool, be it like a little blow up pool for my back porch because it gets hot here, just like in Florida, except we are nowhere near the beach. So I sat my old white guy butt in a pool that went up to my maybe my over my tummy bit, and it was glorious.
yeah, I think you posted pics of that, didn't you?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I didn't need the water wings on that thing. It was a little shallow enough, so we're good.
You should have
Man,
had them anyway, just for effect, because you never know. Accidents happen. You need like the big floaty with like a duck or something around your waist, you know?
I need rubber ducks in the pool too.
Yeah. Nose plugs. Of course, that's always helpful to keep the brain-eating amoebas out. So,
Yeah, brain eating amoebas that exist in the inflatable pool, the inflatable pool that's a two seasons, so I can't really complain. I think it's time to let that poor thing go to rest. I don't know how I made it the last two seasons, but I did. It eventually was just like I'm done, dude. It's like the from the Green Mile. I'm real tired, boss. That was my pool. But
in this case,
anyway,
you were the ugliness he was tired of.
yeah. I'm real tired, boss. So yeah, man, let's get into this missing in action. So I have some things to say about this already. I don't know if you ever have. I've actually been in Portland. My wife's family's from the Portland area,
Hmm.
so I always get a kick out of the Transformers being around the Portland area.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times it's not far off. This, however, is very far off. You can see it was definitely written by a UK writer who didn't, well, at the time we didn't have Google to figure out you know,
Yeah,
facts about
you would have
ships.
to use like a key map or something if you're
Oh, yeah.
lucky, and you wouldn't know about anything that's like really right around there.
No. And so we start off seeing Trax, who's walking around Greater Portland,
Yeah.
supposedly a small town with a population that never exceeds 10,000. So the
Yeah.
actual Portland population in the 1984 census was over a million people. So,
Maybe it's like one of those little suburbs that's just kind of named like,
I mean, you can say like Troutdale, or you can say like Gresham, maybe. 10,000 is a fifth of the size of my hometown, and I felt like that was a small town was trying to grow up to be a big town.
yeah. Well, I was
So,
thinking maybe it was like we have a city here called South Houston that's actually engulfed by Houston.
okay,
Yeah.
If you meant, even if you meant the Portland, like the central Portland area, there's no way that's 10,000 people.
Yeah.
There's no
Well, no,
way
I'm
it's
thinking maybe
possible.
it's like a small town that's like near Portland that just named themselves Greater Portland
There-
out of like hubris.
we will assume that the writer thought there was a town called Greater Portland.
Yeah.
We'll also know that the writer is a British writer, comic writer, didn't have any time to research. Yeah. So yeah, that's way out. But
That's something we could ask James Hill about one day if we can ever
we should
contact him.
reach out. Um, but yeah, so he stumbles into some grime and he's set upon by Rumble in an alley. Dude, he's just walking around the alleys and he steps into like he it sounds like he steps into some New Orleans style grime.
Yeah. Now, if this track is anything like TV's tracks, I think the grime is worse than Rumble to him.
Oh yeah. Look,
Yeah.
oh my God. I've got a little smudge on my boot. Um
Who leaves a diaper out like that? You've seen the Walmart parking lot diapers.
yes. Oh my God, who left the diaper out in the alley? But Rumble uh, Rumble's powers set him off balance and he grabs his black. So immediately, Rumble shows up. By the way, just so no one's mad at us, we're not doing this. This is not, we didn't do this on purpose. Rumble is red and black.
Yeah, it's Comics Rumble, who's
Yeah.
based
So
like a
just so you all
toy.
know.
And even tracks in the illustration looks just like the toy. Like he's
Yeah.
got the white face with the like
And if,
mask and the
yeah, if any
Super
of,
Grover helmet.
yeah, he does. And then and so many of us that grew up in that time, we always had, when you had the two pack of like, it was Rumble and Ravage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Rumble Ravage. Rumble is red in the package, and of course Ravage. So toys and comics, Rumble's red, Frenzy's blue. But obviously Sunbow, Rumble's blue, Frenzy's red. So
Yeah.
rib fear.
They
Uh,
got him reversed.
so Rumble's powers like set him off balance, and he grabs his black beam rifle that envelops Rumble in pitch black. Now, this is one of those guns that he used a couple times on the Sunbow show, but it was
Yeah.
like like squid ink.
Yeah, it's like a darkness gun.
Yeah,
He basically casts darkness.
I attack the darkness.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too.
Fireball,
Yeah. As
fireball.
opposed to, a black light, which, makes all your velvet posters look groovy.
Yeah, well that and a lot of mushrooms. So yeah, Rebel reaches out though. He's developing this darkness. He reaches out and rips into Trax's chest, and
Yeah, he just
something
blindly hits that like, okay, you cast darkness on him basically, but he still knows where you're standing. You didn't move.
he
So
goes, Kalima, Shakti Day, and reaches in his chest and pulls out like some vital circuitry, rips it out,
he ripped out his console and
the chassis,
yeah. Well, I
and
meant like the center console in the car mode.
he yeah he rips out vital microcircuitry essentially, and and Rumble after that he's like, well, he's down. Trax goes down. Rumble leaves him because Megatron gave him a mission to accomplish. So Rumble's like, yeah, dude, I was just here in this alley. I just punched into your chest just for funsies. Now I gotta go. And Trex uses this last of his energy to transfer to convert into his Stingray Corvette mode and remain motionless in a dark alley. Now
So he's a licensed vehicle.
he is. They actually they name his vehicle as a Stingray.
Yeah. The rules were different back then.
Well, yeah. Also, I don't think the UK rules were well. The UK rules obviously are not the same as the American rules. But
Hmm.
yeah, the rules were different back then. I mean, you could have a Volkswagen Bug toy without thinking it was a Nazi toy. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for years later because Volkswagen would not lend their licensing to a Transformers for a long, long time.
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with politics. They were mad at the current president.
That could be too.
Yeah.
which last episode, if you'll
The
notice,
current president then
yeah, last
was
episode, if
W.
you well, I was gonna say last episode, when you if you go back to listen or watch the last episode, that was the beginning of the move towards that sort of I don't know, I kind of like the feeling in the world where you have a country like Germany is trying to move on from their past,
Hmm.
and some people who wouldn't let them move on from the past and use it as an example. A lot of times negatively, like you use it as a straw man for their own ideologue stuff. So what happened with that? Yeah, W was kind of on that same path. I was like almost like he inherited that legacy, if you will.
That, and I don't think there was enough money involved because
Yeah.
when the Michael Bay movies came around, they changed their tune, but they weren't interested in using them or
No, they
anything.
already had
So
a Corvette because General Motors was like, dude, we will let you as long
yeah,
as you drive one of
the,
our cars on the screen. Yeah.
yeah, the Camaro, yeah.
I think the first time they actually had a VW Bug or a Volkswagen licensing was on the Masterpiece.
No, that's why the masterpiece wasn't made.
What?
Oh wait, sorry, masterpiece. Sorry, I was thinking the alternators, alternators,
Oh yeah,
Vinyl
that's why the
Tech.
alternative wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Masterpiece.
yeah, masterpiece was made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it was the first time Volkswagen actually licensed the Volkswagen body style to Takara Hasbro.
yeah.
It's been many
That
times since then, but still.
Yeah, that wasn't long after that. But yeah, they had it planned for Vinyl Tech slash alternators, and that's where
Slash kids
the
players.
yes, that's definitely slash there. But anyway, but yeah, so that's what started that little row. I'm glad you've amused yourself with that one.
Dude, that is one of the funniest and cringiest part of Transformers fandom, and I love it. I love it. So,
Still waiting for a Legion figure. When do we get Legion?
I think he's got to cross that with the licensing from Riska Doji. So we'll
Right,
wait on that. Um, that tongue, man, that what that tongue
right.
do? So back at the back at the base, Optimus Prime notes that Trax is late, and he starts to get concerned. So
He's a worrier. This Optimus.
he is Optimus. This is a There are many facets of Optimus in the comics. This is one of them. He like the last issue where the Plague of Insecticons, he was a go-getter. He was a doer. This one's a
Yeah.
warrior. So yeah,
The one thing that's, I guess similar to both stories so far is Mirage is not like humans.
yeah, it's true. Braun mentions that he might come across some Decepticons, but Mirage says he's probably off showing himself off.
Calls
And
him an Earth lover.
the Earth Lover, he's showing himself off, and there's a murmur of agreement, like, yeah, he would do that, man. That guy's such a narcissist, it's fine. So yeah, um,
Yeah, I always thought we were robbed that we never got like I don't know, a vein off between
Sunstreaker and
Sunstreaker,
Drax.
yeah, and Trax. Like the two of them, like
Oh
they should have
god,
teamed them up at least once just to
oh, I'm
be the two
prettier.
pretty boys.
No, I'm prettier. I just had a wax job done. Well, I just had a paint job done. Yeah, that would have been ridiculous. And Sideswipe is over there. He's like, come on, man, hurry up. We gotta go. No, I
They'd
gotta.
be preening and trying to show off the whole time, and everyone else would have to just do all the work.
Yeah. But yeah, well, we all know that Raul was Trax's kiss play partner, so yeah, that would have made it even better.
That
So
would have been a funny twist on the whole thing if they'd added him.
Raul, you gotta kiss me. I need your power.
Oh
Trax,
man.
this is in front of people, man. So JD, one of our characters in the story, finds the Corvette that is apparently okay. So weird. He finds this Corvette in the alley and it's apparently whimpering.
Yeah.
And he's like he's checking it out. He's like it's almost like he hears like someone crying or whimpering in pain. And then as soon as he touches the handle, it stops. Huh.
Yep.
So of course he gets in it and takes off.
Well,
because
and something's interesting there. He says he found it behind Woolworths.
yeah, it's true.
And there was actually a Woolworths department store in Portland, Oregon that closed in 1993.
Oh, nice.
It was located on Congress Street in downtown Portland.
Okay, hey, dear. Congress Street in downtown Portland. Do you know where that's at? She, she informed me that was an area she was driving the wrong way down one day. Um, yes, yes. Oh, so yes, she knows the area quite well.
So that's where Trax was injured and left in the alley behind it.
Okay. See, I like having a native here. I can reference the places, so that works really well. Um, nice. Uh, the shame was palpable. So in case y'all know, um, but yeah, he goes to meet up with Mark. So we find
Mark doesn't
out
have a cool like nickname like JD does.
nope. Well, JD is the coolness of the name JD is wavering at this point. But Mark and JD have hatched a plan to rob this grocery store. And I have to go here and point this out. Now reading the comic, he Mark is waiting on the curb for JD with Mark's dad's gun. So the way curb is spelled here is Kerb.
Yeah.
Is that how a curb's supposed to be spelled for the road?
Not in the US, but
Oh, in Europe. Oh,
yeah, I thought maybe it might be a one of those UK.
well,
Yeah, it
yes.
is. The British spell it Kerb.
Yeah, my wife over here says she's like nodding me like, yeah, you uncultured hack. Yes, in Europe it is. So here I go. I am a very uncultured white male in the United States. Sorry, guys. And you UK listeners, luckily my wife is here to set me straight.
So
So yeah,
apparently, yeah, in the US and Canada, it's CURB, but everywhere else in the English speaking world, it's KERB. So like in Australia and
okay.
the
I
United
wonder.
Kingdom.
I
Yeah.
wonder. See, I guess I think of curb as a like I don't know a changing of the a word curve because you know so, like a lot of curbs are like they have like their curve shape. I always assume that's what it was,
Yeah.
but I maybe it's and then it's something different. I'll have to look that up later. I want to make sure I pointed that out that the curb is KERB. So our European and our British, since I know you're not really part of the European Union anymore. Sorry, guys. So our European and
Well, it
Brit.
does come from the word curve, the same base in Latin.
Oh, just spelled a different way. Okay,
Yeah, it comes from Old French, which means to bend or bow.
interesting. Okay,
So I
so it
guess it's
actually.
where the edge of the like easement like bows down to the road. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if Germanic language would because like as my stepsons point out to me a lot of times, our the American language, English language is actually a its basis is Germanic,
Yes.
which honestly I didn't know.
Well,
So
this came over in the 15th century. So
okay.
it was one of those words they borrowed from French.
This is why people have a hard time reading and saying English because we just take stuff from everywhere,
Yeah. What's the
especially
saying
American
that
English.
English, doesn't have its own like grammatical rules. It just like mugs other languages in dark alleys and rifles through their
Like
pockets for change.
like JD would do actually, yeah.
Yeah. Well, loose grammar. Yeah. Yeah. Just like Mark and JD.
So yeah, Mark, there's the whole thing where like J or Mark found his dad's gun in a drawer and took it. It looks like a little like a 38 special revolver, small,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you see a like a cop drama, like let's say like Hill Street Blues or whatever, the small Chief Special kind of revolver,
That's
38
no
round.
reissue Megatron.
No, it would be more like was his name Revolver?
Revolver. Yeah. Or Magnum.
Magnum. Yeah, that's
Magnum.
what it
Yeah.
was, Magnum. Yeah, anyways, a little snub nose revolver pistol. So, and they go and they robbed the grocery store, and like Mark waited in the car for JD to finish robbing the store. Like Mark didn't actually want to do it, and
Mark looks like an extra from The Outsiders.
he kind of does.
Yeah.
The wavy hair and all, with the like
Yeah.
black leather jacket.
He's got that Patrick Swayze look to him.
He got- But then again, JD actually looks like he could be John Constantine with that brown trench coat and the funky like blonde hair.
Yeah. I
So
can definitely
yeah,
see that. All he
we
needs is a cigarette and perfect.
so yeah, he robs the grocery store and he but Mark heard a gunshot go off and JD ran out saying the cashier hit the alarm. According to what Mark said, he shot up in the air, kind of thing to scare him, but we don't know that for sure. So
Yeah.
they get in the car and they escape east to New York.
That is
Now
a long drive.
from Portland to New York, yeah. Um, Now I will put this out here for you, everyone. What happened in Make Tracks? Where did that happen?
Oh, yeah, it's New York.
Yeah. So right here we're getting into the overlapping of the story really nicely, but different characters and different endings.
Yeah, and this story came out about the same time that Make Tracks aired. That's when it was published. It was published in late 1985,
Yeah.
and Make Tracks aired the day before Halloween in 1985.
Huh.
So unless they'd gotten like an early script, I don't think they were copying Make Tracks. I think
No,
this is
that
just
that's
parallel development.
yeah, the correlation between both this story and the episode is kind of neat.
It's like 28 Days Later and Walking Dead both have like similar openings for
Yeah.
their protagonists,
God, I
but
never
they
thought
were
about that that they
developed,
do.
yeah, completely independently at the same time.
That actually that's really interesting. I never thought of the fact that The Walking Dead and 28 Days Later have the same opening.
hmm Yeah, the guy in the hospital wakes up and the whole
Yeah.
world's turned into zombies.
And it's a fantastic start. It's like a video game start both times.
Right.
Anyways, back
You
back
just
to
jump
this.
right into the action. Yeah.
Yeah. So they skipped to New York, like I said. After Optimus is powering up, and he's plugged into the computer. He's powering up. He's thinking like, what's happened to Trax? I'm trying to figure out where he's gone. Like we haven't heard from him at all. But Cosmos, who is apparently the communications officer, which I didn't pick that up. I figured it'd be Blaster, but I guess Blaster wasn't
Yeah.
out yet. He busts in and tells him about the string of robberies in New York, especially about their car, which sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
In case y'all haven't picked up on this, it's tracks.
It's
Um,
tracks.
so the Nerd Squad go to New York. -1.
Well, it
Obviously
doesn't say
-1.
he's a communication officer, it just says he's a communications Autobot.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, and that is part of his function. Like he and Blaster usually work in tandem. Like Blaster would be on the ground and he's the satellite that he's bouncing signals off of.
Well, as we saw in Blaster Blues, that's very true.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, great thumbnail for that. If you guys want to check it out, Boo's posted in our Discord. We have Blaster as his boombox mode in the cockpit of Cosmos with all the stuff around him. So, there's a new channel in our Discord that is just all about thumbnail art. So if you guys want to see, kind of catch up on the art that he's done, it's in there. Just
Yay.
join the Discord. It's kind of cool. So yeah, we get the Nerd Squad, which is one of Ed's least favorite groups.
Right.
Inferno, Grapple, and Hoist minus Red Alert. Thank God. We don't have Mr. Histrionics with us. Um, I mean, he is. There's no other way to put it. Um,
I think he would have found tracks sooner though.
they're gonna use trucks to rob everything. You all hate me. Yeah,
It
that
probably would
that's
have been better to send Hound for this job.
maybe so. Yeah, it's actually Hound actually liked Beyond on Earth. He would have loved.
Well, that and his scanners could like really
Oh yeah.
like the team I would have sent out to this. I would have sent Hound, Bumblebee, and Hoist because somebody's got to haul him back. So Hoist is definitely like
I
got to
think
be in there.
I think you're missing one important member though. You got to get Ironhide so Ironhide can find another blue Stingray Corvette and pick it up and start yelling at it Like, come
Hey,
on,
buddy.
come on, buddy. You could transform. What's wrong with you? Don't you want to come home with me? There's a guy out there come out of a club like, dude, why are you doing that? That's my car. Oh, I'm sorry. Look like a friend of mine. Oh,
That's
oh,
actually more plausible than, a fire chief having a Lamborghini.
yeah. Oh, Grandpa Ironhide's in the sauce again. Oh, I love that. That's one of my favorite scenes from any of the episodes.
Man, that was a early forewarning about civil asset forfeiture. Somebody got their
What?
Lamborghini ganked and given to the fire chief
But why did the fire chief have the Lamborghini? Why did he get it?
because he's the chief, and
I'm sorry.
apparently that's corruption right there.
Yeah. Lamborghini Countach with a
Yeah.
siren spit on top. So can we cut over to young Danny Phillips?
Yes.
He's a boy interested in UFOs and space shuttles, like a lot of us were like growing up in the 80s.
He's us.
Yeah, he essentially is. His late father died in an accident. Well, this is where he's not us. His late father died in an accident while testing an experimental rocket for NASA.
Well, I mean, I'm in Houston, so it could have happened.
You could
Didn't,
happen to you,
but
probably not. No.
yeah.
His mom was trying to keep him from becoming his dad, so she wasn't allowing comic books, space models, and so on. So she's like,
And there's a cover up here because, this death during an experimental rocket test for NASA,
"Yep,"
this did not make the news. So
which is weird.
that this was a Cold War cover up. They were probably sending the Star Wars satellites up.
That one really messed me up as a little kid. Hearing out Star Wars all the time,
Yeah.
and it being that it was the name of the satellite defense system that
Or
didn't
the
work.
nickname. Yeah. SDI, Strategic Defense Initiative, I think was the official name.
It was Star Wars.
They didn't show the movie in Russia, A New Hope. They did
Oh,
not show
really?
that in Russia for a long time because of its connotations to SDI. They showed Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but long before they showed A New Hope.
Dude, that's weird.
Yeah.
Can you like start on the second chapter? Like, how do you start in the second act of a play?
Oh, they had bootlegs running around.
Oh yeah, oh totally.
You
We
could
all
trade a
did.
pair of Levi's for one of those Star Wars bootlegs.
What was it was an episode of Growing Pains, I think, where Kirk Cameron
Hmm.
and I think his friend Boner, they went
Yeah.
on a trip to Russia and they took a bunch of Levi jeans
Yeah.
to sell there, and they got in a lot of trouble because you can't do
It's
that.
contraband. Yeah.
It was one of the stupidest premises for an episode. And of course, his best friend's name's Boner, so there's
Oh,
that too.
yeah. That was Walter Koenig's son.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. That was Chekhov's son.
That's kind of neat. No, I didn't follow his career, so I didn't realize that. My bad.
Yeah.
But his mom's trying to keep him from all these things that everyone else, all the other kids would have. Like all the other kids in the playground would have comic books. I had a stint where I built a lot of model rockets, and to limited different successes, fire them off. I actually won. This is very nerdy of me from middle school. But I had one rocket that I was really proud of. I asked for it, and I finally, got it to put together. And did you ever put together model rockets?
Nah, not really. I mean, I had
Yeah.
friends that did, but I didn't
Yeah.
myself.
So you have balsa wood fins. Balsa wood's
Yeah.
very soft wood.
Yeah.
I didn't understand airfoils at the time, so I
Hmm.
didn't like. You're supposed to sand down the airfoil for the wings, and I didn't really do that.
Hmm.
But I was also I was more like putting together, painting it, and doing all the decals and stuff like that, and then you fire it off. The you always had like a nose cone that would pop off it would be attached to the base of it. Had like a
Yeah.
parachute, and so we kind of like slowly go to the ground.
Right.
Back in middle school, I was part of like the model rocket club, and I brought one I was so proud of, and it was very very. I don't know, the nose cone fit really tightly into the body and everything like that. And I'm like, but this is like it looks fantastic. It would so nicely done. Because I didn't understand airfoils, I didn't understand how air goes over wings and creates the extra lift. So it shot up in the air and it did this like weird quirky thing. And if any of you know anything about model rockets back then, you had like rocket had it was like a solid fuel thing, and then it would get to a point where it would bust out. It would pop out the top, and you would have the nose cone and the parachute come down. Well, it was so tight of a model rocket that it went, you know, and went, and then it goes. Zzz. It came down like a harpoon on the ground. It buried itself about this deep in the red clay.
Uh-huh.
My teacher, who's also my journalism teacher, looked at me like, "You proud of yourself?" It's pretty cool, man. It sat in the ground like a freaking Excalibur. But yeah, I
So
was pretty
you
proud of it.
created a more dangerous lawn dart.
I did. It was like that's actually kind of what I was getting to. I made a lawn dart that shot up 100 to 200 feet in the air, came down with terminal velocity. You know how hard red clay is.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, some of our people listening may not understand it. It's a ferrous oxide soil. It's basically heavy with iron.
Yeah, it's very dense.
Yes, they use it for bases for a lot of places that have sandy soils, like around
Hmm.
Florida. You have limestone shelf and sandy soils. You don't have a lot of like good stable base. So they use that. They'll dig it out of places like I think there's a quarry in Mississippi, a place like that.
Yeah.
They'll dig it
It's
out and
not
then
water
they'll
permeable, so it can
yeah,
waterproof the.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
exactly. That helps with like waterproofing your footing for your house and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's stuck in there probably a good 3 or 4 inches into this extremely dense, heavy soil. So that's how much velocity it got going down. And it looked at like I was watching it, like, uh-oh. And you see it come down, and it was almost like it was whistling on the way down. I remember it specifically. We all backed way up, and he goes, dunk, like a lawn dart.
You're the reason why everyone has to sign like a safety waiver now when they do that.
I could be. Actually, I really could
Yeah,
be. It was amazing. So, that's a little story about my nerdy past.
that's funny.
Anyways, so yeah, he was not allowed to build things like that, but he actually had a scrapbook that he kept hidden, which included the story about the alien robots in Oregon. So
Yes.
these alien robots in Oregon that we've heard these stories about, it's weird, almost like they were in these comic books.
And well, it's funny because, he's in New York
Hmm.
and there was one newspaper that we've seen repeatedly in the Marvel world that reported on these alien robots.
That's where I was going to go with this. I'm
Oh,
glad you
here
picked
we
up on it.
go. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm glad you picked up on it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's got to be the Daily Bugle.
Yep. At the same time that all the heroes and villains have disappeared,
Yep.
he would have picked up on this article from the Daily Bugle.
Well, that
Uh,
remember Peter Parker went and reported, you know, on the robots too.
yeah, wearing his Venom suit
Yes,
before he knew what Venom was,
his fancy alien costume,
which could turn into his regular clothes whenever he wanted to.
but
Weird.
not into military fatigues. All he needed was a helmet.
Yep. That's yeah. Anyways, so he knows about the alien robots, but he kind of feels like a kid who would listen to what's that what was that AM radio show that
Oh, Coast to Coast?
Coast to Coast AM, yeah.
Yeah.
He would listen to George Norrie on Coast to Coast AM. That's the kind of kid.
Was that Art Bell? Was the
Art
other guy on there?
Bell,
Yeah.
yes, originally Art Bell.
Yeah.
He would listen to that old Danny Phillips. So this kind of kid he is, which nothing wrong with that man. I listened to that when I was younger too. But he went to run errands for his mom, and he came across this blue Corvette which was parked in front of a bank. And he kind of looks. These two guys get out and go into the bank, but he looks at the car and recognizes the Autobot symbol on the car.
Yeah, he saw it in what, some of the newspaper
Yeah,
reports?
the clippings, the pictures from the clippings.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second, I got to talk to these guys. They must be fans too. Yeah, he doesn't. It is included in that. That's an actual Autobot there parked because why would it just be driven around by people? So
Right?
he runs into the bank and sees the robbery happening. So,
Well, and then we have a special little word scramble next.
okay. Let me
Yeah,
get
which we
like
have
it.
an image of, I guess it's Starscream.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Oh
asks like,
boy.
Like, why do Decepticons need? Oh, it's their disadvantage because
Oh,
they can
they.
fly, but it has a flaw, and it unscrambles too. They quickly burn up their fuel.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's
And this,
upside down.
yeah, the seeker image was
Yeah.
drawn by Steve Ditko.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So this is one of Ditko's Transformers drawings.
Very cool. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. It's not terrible. It's very stylized.
Yeah, it gets interesting the further back you get on the plane.
Hmm. It's
Yeah.
it's very like it tapers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got an hourglass shape for a F-15. So
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
very
shapely.
very shapely, very nice.
It's Starscream, he watches his figure.
So a teller in the bank hits an alarm, and JD produces a pack of dynamite with a timer.
Right? This was like completely unexpected. This
He
wasn't even
pulls
like Chekhov's gun. Like there
yeah,
was no inkling that there was gonna be dynamite involved in this
it's
story.
like a Wile E. Coyote thing. He pulls a pack of dynamite with a timer on. Like, well, this is in my bag. I might as well just set it off.
Right.
And they decide to take hostages, but the Nerd Squad, as we already mentioned, Grapple, Hoist, and Inferno. They've been monitoring police scanners and they're headed to the bank.
Right. Well, because they figured out that they've got reports of tracks
Yeah,
appearing where these robberies are happening
exactly.
across the country. So they've started following the police scanners. So
Yep, like an old lady living in an apartment, like listen to the police scanner all night. That's
yeah,
the Nerd
they've got
Squad.
some was it Jessica Fletcher? Is that her name? On Murder She Wrote.
Yes. So JD sees the three Autobots. They show up and transform, and he sees them and freaks out. Which I mean, you'd freak out too if you saw three giant robots coming at you. You're already heightened because of your adrenaline and you're doing this horrible crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
He sees them, drops the dynamite, and it sets off the bomb in the bank.
Yeah.
So,
And this is some weak dynamite. I think this is some homebrew.
how do you set off like 5, 6 of dynamite in a bank and not kill everybody?
Including you're the guy carrying it.
Yeah. Like
And yeah,
it's like some
you're
black hats wrapped them in tape, and I don't know.
yeah, that I think like I said, this was some homebrewed
This is
uh
bad. This is real bad.
TNT.
And so I'm like my notes were like
This is like
setting off the bomb.
Minecraft level
Yeah,
TNT.
it's setting off the bomb and possibly killing everyone inside. But the nerd squad goes and rescues the hostages. But there's still one that Inferno goes for.
Yeah.
Inferno has to go for Danny.
Yeah, the young boy, the woman tells him he's still in there.
And Inferno uses his heat resistant armor to protect him and walks him out.
Which, if the boy can survive it, then I don't think it's gonna be that much of a problem for
I
any
mean,
Autobot.
you would think.
I think Beachcomber could have pulled this mission off.
Well, it would have been tough for Beachcomber because, he was like, I'm not going to do anything, man. I'm going to hang back. I don't want to mess with the flow in there. Um, so, yeah, they took the injured to the hospital, and Mark and JD were carried off by the police. The disabled tracks was placed on the back of Hoist, and then the group of Autobots set off back to Oregon. So they take they instead of like fixing tracks there, they put them on Hoist to tow back across the country.
Oh yeah, well, they're not gonna have all their stuff there. They triage him, keep him alive, and then just take him back to the Ark.
Yeah, I guess so. But back
That
in the Ark, yeah,
that's where all the parts are.
yeah, he's restored by Hoist and Ratchet.
They're gonna take some more spare parts off of Sunstreaker. That's why that dude can never get fixed.
God, that's terrible. Uh, so yeah, man, they kind of give like a debriefing of what happened in tracks. Goes through all the events that happened, like all the way up to the explosion. So, what does he say here? Surely, if humans behave in the same manner as those two crooks and threaten the lives of fellow humans, they are as bad as Decepticons and deserve to be ruled by them. And Optimus Prime shows up. You're wrong, Tracks. There's a world of difference between the evil of all Decepticons and the wrongdoings of a number of humans. And there is something you must never forget. There are also countless honest humans. And it is, they were, and it is, they were, are
They
sworn.
we are.
Oh, it is they we are, sorry.
It's okay.
It is they we are sworn to protect. God. I'm trying to do a cold read and it's just not coming out right. I do like the art there. John Stokes, he really captured the figure of Inferno really well.
Oh yeah, that like I
All the
said,
way
he
down to
had
the
very
forearms.
toyetic designs.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He's a great figure. All the way down to the forearms and the little vents on the shoulders. Really cool,
Hmm.
nice, looking figure there. So he's carrying a little Danny.
So JD
Hmm.
was apparently named after J.D. LaRue from the '80s police show Hill Street Blues.
Oh, hasn't show I haven't thought about it in a while.
Yeah, and he was played by the late Keel Martin.
I don't know. I know the name, but I always loved the opening song to Hill Street Blues.
I'd posted a video a while back in our Discord, and you're like, "Why is Keel Martin here?" I'm like, "You'll see."
Oh,
There it is. Yeah,
there you go, man. Okay.
planning ahead. You know.
Drop you're literally doing me a Chekhov's gun for later.
Yes,
Nice.
since the dynamite wasn't done like that.
You'll
You
mark.
know, it needed like a little aside where they robbed like a I don't know, like a mining company, mining supply or something, going through Montana or something. So
Nice.
so James Hill recalls that Sheila Crana gave him the toy for Inferno and requested specifically that he be included in the story.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Hill said that he used Rumble in the beginning because
Uh-huh.
he really liked his seismic abilities because they reminded him of like a superhero power.
Well, I mean, really, all these original Autobots had like superhero powers.
Yeah. They started toning it down. It went like just being a big robot with a gun was good enough as it went. But yeah, the
Yeah, I mean,
originals, yeah, they were
I think
definitely superheroes.
the 85 Autobots had less and less of that, but yeah, like you still
Oh
had
yeah, the 85
some.
Autobots were basically support.
Yeah, I mean, the tracks had his flight mode and that kind of stuff, but they're like a lot of them just had nothing special going on. The originals, like, Jazz with his grappling hook and, you know, yeah, it's like the original, the Decepticons also, you had Skywarp has this special ability of warping
Yeah, he
and
could
the Cracker.
teleport.
Yeah, so all of them had these really cool, almost like it was almost done like comic book superheroes. So that's kind of neat.
I want to say that like out of the 85 cars, I want to say that like Smokescreen and Tracks are pretty much the main two that had like special abilities.
Yeah, Skids had a great special ability though. He didn't show up anymore.
Yeah.
No, he's
Yeah,
done.
he had invisibility apparently. Better than Mirage.
Yeah. So
Actually, you'll see in the comics though, Skids
oh yeah.
gets a lot of attention.
It kind of seems that way. You have Autobots that don't, or, Autobots, Transformers that don't show up in the shows or just are there after the show's canceled are getting a lot of attention.
Well, you had like three levels here because you had like the guys that got all the attention in the Sunbow cartoon,
Uh-huh.
and then Bob Budiansky would work with a lot of the characters that didn't show up much in the Sunbow cartoon, and then
Yeah.
Simon Furman would work with the characters that Bob Budiansky didn't do. So
With Simon
it's
Furman,
like a Matryoshka doll, you know? It's just,
Simon Furman, especially with the Wreckers,
oh
he
yeah.
he used a lot of those characters of the Wreckers. Our boys
Well,
love.
he said he loved it when they started doing like the 2006 characters because those weren't covered at all in the US Marvel comics, so he could do
Yeah.
whatever he wanted with them.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, big reason for that. But
So I got a little more from Hill,
okay.
Mr. James Hill, on here. He said that he submitted a synopsis for an origin story of the Transformers about how the machines had become sentient and evolved over millions of years on Cybertron, but it was rejected by Ian Rimmer, who wanted to focus more on the Transformers' doings on Earth.
Hmm.
And then because I guess you have the initial roll call that's in the beginning of this annual that we saw with the
Uh-huh.
Autobots,
Yeah.
which was omitted from the UK comics.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first time it shows up here. James Hill had apparently read the American miniseries, and
Okay.
he felt like, just because there's that initial roll call, he said there was no reason why a few more Autobots couldn't be whipped out as story MacGuffins when they were needed. So
Very
he always felt like there was always background characters he could draw upon.
nice.
Yeah,
Very true.
yeah. So that's some of the backstory of what went into this.
Very nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I
Yeah,
like,
because apparently he was somewhat of a fan before, because like I said, he'd already read the original miniseries.
yeah, that's kind of nice. He wasn't
Yeah,
just going to like a jobber who, like a ham and egger, as Ed would say,
yeah.
showed up to do some stuff. That's really cool. I appreciate that. And John Stokes, like the art was fantastic, so thanks for that.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's nice when you only have like a couple little illustrations to do. You don't
Yeah,
have to do each panel of each part of the story.
yeah, you can spend a lot of time with this. The picture with Trax and Frenzy, or
Who?
sorry, Rumble. Sorry, yeah, it's good. Like
Oh
great.
yeah, you got like the
It's,
reflections on like the
yeah.
gold parts of Rumble's chest and stuff. It's
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Sticker
It
details. I mean,
yeah. Great job on that. And like you said, even like the one where Mark's holding up the or no JD's holding up the store, Mark's and they're going, "Oh no!" All that. I mean, there's so much detail work going into the jacket and the hair. God, it's hair.
yeah, I saying the ink work on Mark there is great.
Oh yeah. So it's all fantastic. They did a great job with this, and you have to forgive things like the Autobot symbol being drawn exactly right because everything else around it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate that. John Stokes once again doing fantastic work. Dude, look at the detail on the light post where he's parked in the fire hydrant.
Mm-hmm.
The flippin' gradient of the ink work.
Oh yeah. Well, on Trax's hood and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Well, Lon Trax said it's more of the colorist, whoever did the colors for this.
yeah. I'm
I
not
don't
sure who
know.
did the color on here.
Whoever did the color did a really nice job with also once again the gradient.
And that was the problem with these text stories is they didn't credit who did them. We found out later, like years later, who actually did
Yeah.
them.
And Trax hood, I mean, honestly, it looks like someone had a good time with like I don't know, like almost like watercolor markers. And
Hmm.
it's like kind of swirl effect.
Or I guess that would still be John Stokes since he was just the illustrator, period.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great job. And just the idea, like it was like had like a swirl effect. Like you had Trax who was a very well, like I guess, waxed and polished.
Yeah.
It had like a nice reflection on that. So
Well, and that Stingray was a very curvy design.
yes.
So, yeah.
Well, that's why it was really impressive. He actually worked all that into it. It's a really nice job.
Yeah.
So look, freaking cool. That's
You
nice.
almost Patreoned it.
I almost did. I almost did, but I saved it last second. I yeah, not really, but I kind of did.
I like that
So
term. We Patreoned it.
but anyways, great story and great art.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Well, these UK comics never like disappoint
they
with their
don't
artwork. It's always great to look at.
even the one-offs like this.
Yeah.
So awesome. That's it's great. And I have a funny feeling we're gonna end up doing like a four-parter for this annual. I thought it was gonna be three, but there's a lot in this, man. It's dense.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's four stories in it. So,
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. If you're gonna lay it out that way, sure. Four stories.
yeah. And I mean, the future annuals are, just as good. And they do a lot of like groundwork for like the background stories, like the history
Okay.
and stuff.
Oh, that's probably where we get a lot of the like nice world building. Like next week we're gonna do Tales of Cybertron. There shall come a leader, and there shall come a leader.
Yes.
Kind of the background how Optimus Prime became leader,
Right.
and giving a very important character his debut. So
And there's
we'll
another one that comes up much later in one of the later annuals,
uh
State Games, which they've built so much of the backstory and like all the other like G1 based universes is pulled from that, like Megatron Origin pulls
oh,
from State Games,
gotcha. Okay,
which we won't get to that for a while, but it's in the same vein of
okay.
stories. And I
Well,
believe that was also written by James Hill.
very nice.
Yeah,
Okay. And so it's great to have
I
all these.
think.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna double check real quick.
Let me see. I want
Yeah,
to.
he did State Games.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Let's see. I want to like call out real quick. Of course, Zagoff is all over the comments, and Crasher, thank you for being there. Also, you were as well.
Oh
And
yeah.
but I want to say also, here it is, Jamie Tron. He was like he enjoyed last like 2 episodes back, and was really happy that we're going to be doing the UK comics. Enjoys the episodes, and is really happy that we're going to do the annual. So. This will be our second episode of the annual, so I'm glad you're here, Jamatron. And please, join the Discord, man. If you feel like you're older, you can't get into that kind of social media. Trust me, we're old enough, and we got it. So you're welcome, and we can bumble around like a bunch of old guys.
If we can figure it out, anybody can.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think I got it all figured out now. So, anyways,
Good
y'all, thanks for
times.
being here another week. Always appreciate it. I'm gonna ask if you're here this long, especially like give us a follow, give us a like, send us like do us a rating if you can. Saying like, hey guys, I love the episode or I hated the episode. If you're here this long, I don't know why you would have stayed long just to tell us you hated the episode.
It's the
But
internet, man.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I'd appreciate it. We love the interaction. I mean, I'll call you out if unless you don't want me to. I won't say anything, but I'll call you out in the next episode or after I see it. And I love our community we build and the people we are in their ears every week. I
Yeah,
enjoy
we
it.
have some great people in the community.
Oh,
We really
totally.
do.
It's one of those little things I didn't realize was going to happen when I started this. It was a happy accident, if you will, to pull a Bob Ross quote.
Yeah.
But I'm not making really pretty trees and mountainsides. I'm just making content for YouTube and like your Spotify playlist or whatever. So, anyways,
You're turning oxygen into carbon dioxide for those trees.
a lot.
A lot. A lot
Uh,
more than you probably should. Quit breathing up all our air, man.
I'll try to stop heavy breathing. Anyways, y'all,
Save it
have
for the
things
phone calls.
exactly. Call him later. Okay, good.
Later,
Um,
later.
So y'all, thanks for being here once again, and appreciate it. And so yeah, join us, email us, say hi, whatever, and say hi in the comments if you need to. So I'm gonna leave it to you, Boo, to take us out of here.
Bye.
Y'all later. More of the Mises Guys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland with Boo of the ExcellentUnderground.com. Research is also done by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and Boo of the ExcellentUnderground.com. All used images are property of Hasbro, Sunbow, Paramount, and or Marvel. And without you, none of this would be possible. So thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to you being here every week. Paramount, and or Marvel. And without you, none of this would be possible. So thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to you being here every week.